Who will rise up from the ashes to surprise? 28 of the last 30 years, a team that is preseason unranked in the AP poll has finished in the top 10. Welcome into the Voice of College Football, breaking down the game we all love each and every day with best discussion, debate, and analysis. Let's get to the teams over the last 3 seasons unranked in the AP poll that finished in the top 10. Let's get to it. Starting in 2023, there was just one of these. Mizzou, coming off an under 500 record under Eli Drinkwitz, of course. 11-2 with a Cotton Bowl win over Ohio State, unranked. Ole Miss had a similar surge, but they were at least number 22 in the preseason poll, finished 11-2 at number 9. Now let's go back to 2022 and a glut of teams that made it all the way from unranked to the top 10 in the nation. 5 of the final top 10 were unranked. TCU, Tennessee, Penn State, Washington, Tulane, all not ranked, had tremendous seasons in 2022. In 2021, nearly as many, consider this, 4 of the final top 10 started the season unranked, including, of course, Michigan coming off the 2-win season, 2-4 in 2020, unranked all the way to the college football playoff at number 3. Baylor at 5 is the Big 12 champion. Oklahoma State is the Big 12 runner-up at number 7. And Michigan State had a big season under Mel Tucker at 11-2. We are just about 10 days away from kickoff, and to find a team or teams, as has been the case in 2 of the last 3 years, 4 or 5 teams that went all the way from unranked to the top 10 in the nation is a difficult task, but it's a fun one. So let's get down to it, considering that it's happened 28 of 30 times. Iowa State looks like a candidate. 7-6 last year with a bowl loss to Memphis. Head coach Matt Campbell, one of the best in the business. They've got a quarterback in Rocco Becht, who is the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year, one of the top teams in the nation in terms of returning production with elite play at running back and wide receiver. No Utah on the schedule, but Iowa State catches most of the toughies in the Big 12. Iowa State is a candidate. We understand that Kirk Herbstreit selected this next team as a dark horse in the Big 10, and it's pretty easy to see the reason why. Yes, Rutgers is a pretty decent football team coming off 7-6 and its first bowl win in a decade. Greg Schiano knows what he's doing at Rutgers. He's built this program now twice. He says that there are more NFL players on this roster than at any time under his direction, so that would pretty much mean any time in the history of the program. Big Ten rushing champion Kyle Monangai is back. Christian Dremel at wide receiver is back. They've got a new quarterback in Ethan Kalkumanis, who, despite only completing 54% of his tosses, is a huge upgrade in the pocket over Gavin Wimsatt. And the defense could be one of the best in the Big Ten, and the Big Ten plays better defense than anyone. But it's mostly about the schedule. No Ohio State, no Michigan, no Penn State, no Oregon, no Iowa. Those could be, with our apologies to USC, those could be the 5 best teams in the conference. How Rutgers got the schedule, I have no idea. They certainly have friends in the Big Ten office. Next up, Rutgers. Iowa slipped into the coaches poll and the AP poll at number 25. We're also going to slip them into this list despite that preseason ranking. So they would not technically qualify, but we believe as though Iowa is being dismissed here. 7.5 win total according to Vegas. The defense will be one of the best in the nation. It has been for the past 4 or 5 years. The special teams, one of the best in the nation, as it has been mostly for 20 or 25 years. This defense could have the best linebacking core in the nation and the best secondary in the nation. Maybe. Quarterback Brendan Sullivan, if he beats out Cade McNamara, has completed 69% of his passes in throwing 200 passes against Big Ten competition. Consider that Iowa quarterbacks have not completed 60% of its passes since 2015. New offensive coordinator Tim Lester, and oh yeah, look at this schedule. Besides a trip to Columbus to take on Ohio State, Iowa does not face the other 4 best teams in the Big Ten, Oregon, Michigan, USC, and Penn State. They should be a favorite in every other game, and 10-2 should put them in a position to finish in the top 10. Jeff Brohm can flat out coach. What he achieved at Louisville, well, it looked familiar because he became the only coach in 32 years of conference championship game history to lead 2 separate programs in consecutive years to conference championship games and neither one of them was forecasted to go that far. Louisville in 2023 after Purdue in the Big Ten in 2022. Louisville lightly regarded here, not in the preseason top 25. So Jeff Brohm will also look to continue what he did with a transfer quarterback in 2023 with Jack Plummer, with Tyler Shough this season in 2024. Make him an efficient winning quarterback. In terms of the schedule, Louisville has dates at Notre Dame. Of course, they beat the Irish at home last season. Miami, they beat the Canes in Hard Rock last year. They've got Clemson as well. They go to Kentucky, win 2 of those 4, and Louisville has a chance to finish in the top 10 at 10-2 before postseason play. Virginia Tech has been off the college football national map for quite some time. Frank Beamer's last couple teams were not anything exceptional. Justin Fuente took over, and Virginia Tech went to a conference championship game in 2016, but it's been a long time ago, 8 years. Brent Pry bringing back the program one step at a time. He went 7-6 with a bowl win last year. They've got quarterback Kyron Drones coming back and returning production. They're one of the top 5 in the nation. Now, in terms of the schedule, Rutgers whipped Virginia Tech by 19 points in Piscataway last year, but the game's being played at Lane Stadium this time around. Huge advantage for the Hokies. They've got Miami on the road on a Friday night. They've got Clemson at home. They could pull off a minor upset there. Those are the only games in which they could be an underdog. Probably just Miami and Clemson. Virginia Tech could get to double-digit wins. One of my favorite stats in college football, if you watch us here at the Voice of College Football, you know this. Number 1, because I created the stat. Number 2, because I think it's very telling about the state of college football, that about a third of the sport, last year, 26 of 70 power conference teams either elevated by 3 games from the previous season or declined by 3 regular season wins. Auburn could be a candidate this season, 6-7 last year. So again, that's a 6-6 record by those calculations. They do have to go to Georgia and they do have to go to Bama. They played both of them exceptionally well, but at home last season, you got to think that that's a huge mountain to climb. But look at the other tough games. Oklahoma at Mizzou, at Kentucky, and Texas A&M. Go 3-1 in those games. A 9-3 Auburn team with a postseason win would finish on the cusp of the top 10. Hugh Freeze back for his second season. Teams usually improve from that first season to the second season. Peyton Thorne needs to find some of his magic from his Michigan State days. And Cam Coleman is one of the most heralded freshman receivers in the country. Auburn looking to make a jump. For a final team, we're going to stay in the SEC. We're going to go to a program that 10 years ago was one of the laughingstocks in college football. Mark Stoops has done an exceptional job, but they have plateaued over the past 5 seasons. They actually broke through to be a top 10 team back in 2018. But again, 7-6, 7-6 the past 2 seasons. Mark Stoops said during SEC Media Days, it's time to not be satisfied with the improvement of being a consistent bowl team, but to break through for more. Can Kentucky do it this season? Brock Vandagriff at quarterback. Gavin Wimstead coming in from Rutgers as a dual threat option off the bench. The wide receiver play should be exceptional. The big blue wall should be back along the front. Offensively, the defense should be one of the best in the SEC. It's exceptional from a personnel standpoint. Okay, Kentucky's got a date at Georgia, date at Texas. Okay, if they can navigate the rest of the schedule with 1 loss, again, similar to Auburn, a 9-3 SEC team that wins its postseason game and finishes 10-3 is going to get a lot of push toward the top 10 in the nation. Those are our candidates for making it all the way from unranked preseason all the way to the top 10. Again, it happened once last season, 5 times in 2022, 4 times in 2021. Iowa State, Rutgers, Iowa, Louisville, Auburn, Kentucky, and Virginia Tech are candidates. Who do you submit as a candidate to come from the ashes all the way to the top 10 in 2024? Leave those comments in the comments section and we'll look them over right here at the Voice of College Football.